Hey there, my name is Bruno, and this is the video for the final exam of the subject of Resources and ICT. In this video, I talk about the project that I've developed for my imaginary students, and also I talk about what I've learned during the course. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go! So for the first part of the video, for the project that I've designed, I plan to develop the citizenship, digital and plurilingual competencies as they are detailed in the decree of the region of Murcia. Also, I plan to work the standards belonging to the subjects of English, natural science and social science. If you want to check in detail the standards that I plan for these activities, you can go for the transcription you can find in the description below.
Okay, so this activity is intended for children of the 5th grade of primary school. For the set design, I thought about going to the Aula Plumier, as we are going to need the computers to perform the whole activity. Also, it would be great to count with a projector in the classroom so that I, the teacher, have it easier to show the kids how to do the things. For the social design, I thought of arranging the classroom in groups of 3. They could use a computer per group, or, if we are lucky, and the Aula Plumier has enough computers, we could use a computer per person. This would be optimal, as they would do everything in a more agile way, divide the workload, fasten the search of information, and enhance the cooperation, as using only one device per group could cause some conflicts. Okay, so for the epistemic design, what do I plan them to do? Well, first of all, let's talk about the tools they are going to use. These are Genially, Blogger, and Padlet. The project will be developed in the course of 5 classes. So in the first class, they will be introduced to Blogger. They will be told its possibilities and be given basic notions on how to use it. They will start creating a blog with the thematic of the Earth. They will be given time to design it, customize the background, the arrangement of the resources, etc. And then they will apply a Creative Commons license. Applying the license is a very easy process and shouldn't take much time. In the second session, they are going to start with creating their first blog post. This post is just a welcoming post. It doesn't have to be very complex. They have to briefly explain what's the blog about and make an introduction. Then they'll pin it to the first of the page. After this, they will start with the second blog post. In this one, they have to talk about the energy sources and where we will get our heat and electricity. They will have to classify these energy sources in renewable and non-renewable sources. They will also have to pin or insert a YouTube video in this post. In the third session, each group will be assigned an energy source. They will have to create a Genially presentation about this source, talk about how it works, the countries that lead that production, and the advantages and disadvantages of it. Then they will have to create a new blog post and they will have to insert this Genially presentation into it correctly. In the fourth session, they will have to create a new blog post, this time with the hashtag #SaveThePlanet. In this blog post, they will have to insert a Padlet that they will also have to create. This Padlet will have the thematic of climate change, and they will have to create a mind map that relates the causes, the consequences, and the solutions of global warming. In this Padlet, wherever they want, they will have to put a link that redirects you to the official web page of the United Nations, which this topic is also discussed. Then, for the fifth and last class of all, they won't have to create any more blog posts, don't worry. They will have to present Genially presentations about the energy sources, and then after that, show their blog to their peers. They won't have to present all the content of the blog, that would be very boring because every one of them has talked about the same topic. They will just have to talk about how they created it and show how it looks. That's all. That while doing this, they will write in the blackboard the name of each group, and then the rest of the groups, while they are presenting, will mark their blogs from 0 to 4 stars. At the end of this, the whole class will vote for the best blog of all, and they will be named the Earth Masters. Now, let's talk about the main ethical problems that I think I could find when doing this task in my classroom. Well, The first and the most obvious one is that, we are free computers, we are humans, they are going to get distracted. They can search inappropriate things, do other tasks, play games, whatever. But what I find most concerning is that the blog is public and can be seen by anyone, even people you don't know. So they have to be very careful with the information they post and also make sure that they don't post pictures of themselves. This concern also applies to Padlet, as it also a public space. Regarding generally, I haven't found any real problem, so we don't have a really concern about that. Then I've also created in the transcription that you can check a table with the ethics evaluation of each tool, based in a rubric that I've created. It's very simple, are just three main principles. Okay, so what I believe is the added value of using digital tools in this task is, first of all, that they will develop looseness with computers, and then that they will teach them how and where to search for information from reliable sources. This is very important for them now and very important for them in the future. Also, this will show them the possibilities that technology gives them to communicate with others, fostering their interest in technology. So, when doing this task from home, I don't think that we have to make many changes at all. They can do it the same, it's just using a computer. What I believe we should remove, because it wouldn't make many sense, is the part of representation in front of the class, because we aren't going to create a Zoom meeting, for example, to present a blog. It's just visiting it. So I believe that the task will adapt perfectly at home with only the part of the blog creation. That is the main important part of this task. Now, regarding evaluation, I believe I would do a formative evaluation, which means evaluating the whole at the end of the task. I would let them some time after the presentation if they want to make any changes in things that they believe or they are shown that they had done incorrectly. Then, if you want to check it, I have down in the transcription made some rubrics to evaluate the Genially, the blog and the Padlet. Furthermore, and to end this part of the video, by introducing the kids to tools meant to share information, their PLE will be very enriched in this field, letting them know a wide variety of ways of showing their ideas, being this very useful for them in the future when doing other projects. Also, with Padlet, they are introduced to new ways to organize their ideas. So for this question, I've decided to add to my PLE some tools and activities. These are Google Sites, Instagram, Miro, the use of infographics, and the Pechacha presentation format. The reason why I chose this is because, for example, I can use Google Sites to post my processes and projects, give them visibility, and also organize and keep track of my learning. Instagram is a great way of communicating with others, sharing my advancements, and can also be a great way of searching for information with the use of hashtags. Miro can be used to create mind maps that can be very useful to help me better understanding new concepts that I want to learn and also to teach them in the future. Infographics are a great way of displaying information, and this can be very useful when teaching or showing my ideas. And finally, Pechacha is a very dynamic way of doing presentations, and this can be very useful for example, in the future, keeping interested my students while doing them. So, the first one would be generator and manager of emerging educational practices, which means that the teacher should have a deep understanding in technology in order to improve classic methodological models and be aware of teaching new models in a way that responds to the needs of the students. In this course, I've learned to do classic things like making a poster with the use of technology, for example using Canva, and also new practices like making a podcast. The second one would be expert in digital educational content, which means that the teacher should understand the methodologies, the pedagogical content he wants to teach, and then implement ICT regarding the student learning. This is known also as TPAC. In this course, I've learned that it's very important to know how to connect technology to what I want my students to learn in an effective way and not just to have fun. The third would be expert in enhanced organization or personal learning contexts, which means knowing how to take advantage of the new technologies to acquire knowledge. This means enriching your own PLE and contributing to make the center an intelligent organization. In this course, I've expanded my PLE and also evaluated the importance of what I've added to it. This can help me to know what to implement in which field in order to update the tools that my center will use.
So, as a student that I've been, I am, and I'll be, I believe in my fight for an 8 as a final mark. I've implemented reflections everywhere I could, and also I've met all the requirements of the RICT. Furthermore, the activity that I've created is proven to be very useful as it's a mashup of some tasks that I've been sent during my student years. Also, I've been very engaged during the practices we have done in the classroom. For me, the most important role I perform is the star role, as the way in which you present your work influences a lot. You need to know how to sell your product in order to get a high mark. Also, I believe I'm good at doing public presentations. And then, finally, the most difficult role that I perform is undoubtedly the analyst, as you are going to evaluate your partners and you need to pay a lot of attention on how they work in order to justify it. Also, in some cases, putting a mark below 3 felt a bit bad, but the job of the analyst is to be precise and objective.